welcome to Got Our Attention podcast. This is season 3, episode 5. No, episode 6. Just kidding. Just kidding.
You idiot!
And I'm here with.
Because he's still wrong. It's episode 6.5 since we're now recording.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Time since he screwed up.
It's more like
the first
6.2.
6 minutes of it.
So I'm your host Zycia, or Mike. I'm also with obviously the normal crew, which is Dimmerin, Phoenix Nova, and Daydrink Retail, something like that. Welcome, guys. So to get right into it, obviously I am upset this year because I didn't get to attend DragonCon, which I typically do. And I am gonna just have to listen.
It's so weird.
I'm gonna have to listen to you guys and live vicariously through your experience because I want to know. I want to know everything.
I feel like,
but before we get into that, I know this is the second year that this has happened since COVID happened. So this is like the second year back running, trying to hit the ground running again. So there's gonna be a lot of different things that I know even compared to last year are gonna be different. But I want you guys to kind of fill me in on all of this.
Stop.
Bruno's having a flash moment. It's fun.
Yeah, he is.
Oh boy. Yeah. Something about organ harvesting.
Yeah. No, Oregon harvesting.
Oregon harvesting. It was a really bad
on?
time, Mike. It was really awful. I feel like that's what I'm supposed to say. I don't know. Something, multiple dimensions or reality, something.
Yeah.
DragonCon was awful.
Saturday was crowded. Saturday was its normal full self, and I'm used to Sunday being pretty much the same as Saturday, and Sunday was pretty sparse.
Yeah, usually Sunday is like the party night. Like that's like the last hurrah.
Yeah, and
I feel like everybody must have been really hungover.
That usually is also.
Yeah, but that
from a
didn't
vendor
stop you.
perspective,
Yeah, it didn't stop you.
it was actually very different. From a vendor perspective, Saturday was like dead. Had like no pulse. It was pretty wild. But you know, I guess this was like they scaled up from last year, but there was still all the restrictions for COVID, or a lot of them. So like you didn't need vaccine cards, but you did need masks. But then people weren't listening to the mask rules anyways, so it didn't really matter. But there were restrictions for America's Mart specifically. There were restrictions toward how many people they were letting in, similar to last year. But they scaled up another like 30,000 people. So what resulted was after the parade was 3-hour lines on Saturday, and then being on the 4th floor of the America's Mart means that not a lot of people made it that high because they're like, I have been standing for 5 hours straight, and I'm done now. I'm going back to my hotel room. So
or going somewhere where I can sit down and drink.
Yeah, which is definitely not America's Mart.
Yeah, pro tip is always hit America's Mart on Monday. Now, I get that there's always things that sell out and go out quicker, like Chessac. So if you're into like getting the DragonCon die, like you want to go there immediately before they sell out. Typically, I always wait till Monday. You typically get better deals because the vendors are trying to get rid of stuff because they don't want to take it with them. But two, the lines are like way shorter because most people have already left at that point.
Yeah, no one shows up.
Or they're just going there to America's Mart.
That's a pro tip if you want to shop and nothing else. And which only works well if you either A, have a hotel there, or B, live close.
That's true.
Because for me, it's a complete waste of time because there's no panels, there's no one in cosplay, there's nothing going on except for the shop.
There's some panels, it's just not a lot. Like I actually caught a Yaya Han panel one time on a Monday. Yeah. It was like one of the only few panels happening that time. But
well, from a vendor's perspective, please, for the love of God, don't all come on Monday because there's less hours on Monday and there's always more business on Monday. So like we do everything. It was like our second best day ever on Monday, and when you remove 2 hours from that, it means that like I don't get time to breathe. So as much as it's nice to have people coming by, I'm like, I want to eat food at some point today, but I'm not going to be able to. I think like if you want to buy stuff, honestly, Friday's a great day to go to the vendor hall because a lot of people are still kind of getting situated. Everything is still very much in stock, and a lot of vendors do want to get out those initial sales. So like if people are selling like large comic sets and stuff, you might get a better deal out of it and things. But Monday is definitely the best day overall for deals. It's just also the day where you might run into the most sold out stuff. Like by the time mid-Monday rolled around, a lot of our originals were gone.
Yeah, so, and that's the thing. It's if you're gonna go Monday, it's not for. It's the shopping that that are things that like you're gonna be able to get on day 4, right? If you're looking for special prints, you're looking for, like I said, like the special things that are happening for that specific year. Yeah, you have to go early, and then I just say get there like Tuesday before the vendors even show up.
Be like, do you guys have any more of this print left? And we were like, no, they're gone.
So shopping's fascinating. That's great, but more important is, Kelly, this was your first DragonCon, and it was.
I know. Oh, I'm so happy but sad.
And I want to preface this of it's her first DragonCon, but really only the walking around and people watching side of things, because we literally went to 0 panels.
Yeah, and we did not go to any panels. So
tell us about the panels you didn't attend.
They were fantastic. The people watching was incredible. I ran into like all of my favorite characters. So everybody knows I'm a huge horror fan. And so we ran into Michael Myers, we ran into Jason Voorhees, we ran into the cast of Beetlejuice. They were incredible. Pyramid Head, like mashups of all different shapes and sizes. It was actually super cool. Carrie, heck yeah. So, and then, yes, for those of you who can't see, we're flipping through some pictures. One of my very favorite horror movies is Midsommar. And I don't want to ruin anything for anybody, but there is
that's a horror movie?
Yes. Trust me. There is a one of the main characters is dressed in like all of these flowers and foliage, and it's part of the movie. I can't really.
No, it's fine. I haven't seen it, but I didn't realize it was a horror movie. But there's a reason I didn't watch it, so I guess that's good.
Yeah, it's amazing. So being a huge horror fan and being able to tag along with Brian and his partner, I got to dress up. So I did my very first cosplay. So as a huge Halloween fan, I was super stoked to dress up. The first day, Brian and I went as Ripley and Kane from Alien. And Brian had the alien coming out of his chest, which was perfect eye level to me and many other women. It kind of looks like a little penis.
Also, it doesn't really look like it doesn't really look like an alien, but
yeah. But it was awesome.
No, it looks exactly like an alien. And the funny thing is,
does.
The funny thing is I saw the day before we did that, I saw a guy in a Star Trek uniform that had the same alien chest burster.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
I mean, like, it was the same 3D model.
Yeah. And
then the second day, while I was walking around, I was Kane with the chest burster, my wife dressed up as Chun-Li. And this woman came up before we were able to meet up with Day Drinker, and she comes running up, and she's Ripley with the chest burster. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. Yeah, let's take a picture. We took a picture. And it wasn't until after we're done taking a picture that we realized her husband was dressed up as Chun-Li.
That's hilarious.
They were our mirror couple. It was amazing.
That's hilarious. Yeah. That's awesome. So it's funny.
Day 2, we dressed up.
God, we're only day 1.
Yeah, we dressed up as Fortnite characters. So I brought a little umbrella. Awesome. Brian was kind enough to bring lots of
bandoliers.
Bandoliers, thank you very much. We looked fantastic. And everybody was like, what the heck are you guys? But it was a lot of fun to dress up. We had
I do love the fact that at one point we're standing at the bar and Sonia has a fuzzy pink unicorn backpack, and she has a unicorn head on a stick, which is her melee weapon, and just has a camo shirt on. And this woman looks over and she goes, oh, wait. I don't play it, but that's Fortnite, isn't it? And she did it only based off of my partner's
that's awesome.
Costume.
So before you guys go for, I mean, that to me is like, that is DragonCon to me, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like I've seen some of the most obscure like cosplays that like I don't know if a lot of people know what like Rusty Spoon and like Salad Fingers is, but usually there's like one person in the crowd, like somewhere that has this cosplay. And when you you see it, you recognize, you know exactly what it is. And like he's like literally carrying around the Rusty Spoon. So like that to me is like, just because like it's not a super popular thing, like that to me is what makes DragonCon what it is, because you can have the most obscure cosplay, but like if one person notices you and like just like fist bumps you or just says like, hey dude, that's awesome, like that makes your weekend. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
And
so
that was actually part of our conversation several times was we were like, it's so amazing watching all these people walking around and knowing that they're cosplaying as a character and looking at it going, I have no clue who they are, but they're definitely cosplaying.
They look
something.
incredible. Yeah.
All right, come on, keep telling me. Tell me more.
So I think Shredder picture that's Splinter. Sorry, Shredder. Jesus.
That's Splinter, and it's the picture of like young Splinter with like the young turtle. I've seen this actually from a Facebook post that someone showed me because I'm not on Facebook.
That one was spot on. Splinter was like caressing the baby. It was super cute. We did run into Bumblebee, and Bumblebee took Brian's partner's melee weapon and posed with it. That was
it looks like Fortnite to me. I don't see a difference.
That's definitely Fortnite. I will say this is also really nice too. She did a wonderful job here. Wonderful tribute even.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's awesome.
Cosplay was great. The app, as usual, was borderline useless.
I've heard that. Actually, there's a thread right now on the Reddit that was saying, like, tell me your improvements for the app.
Yeah, because I wanted... I was interested in, like, okay, there's some panels. I did find one panel to show up to... on Thursday night that was pretty good. We barely were able to find the horror cosplay photo shoot so that we could bring Day Drinker to it, her being a big fan. So luckily we did find that. We had no clue there was a DC meetup photo shoot, and someone said, oh, you're great, you need to show up at this time. And we're like, we had specifically searched for that multiple times in the app, never found it.
No.
So like it being able to surface anything that you're interested in, or like break it down by tracks, like, because they have tracks, they have animation tracks, they have movie tracks and TV, but trying to break the events down to those tracks to find those things, it just doesn't exist.
That's actually one of the things that people said today on the Reddit when I was looking at the comments is it was one thing about the tracks being basically able to filter based on type of thing, right? And the second thing was something that we've seen at a different expo convention, but it's like the wait times of lines, like giving you that information of like how long the line's going to be to get in. Because like that way, you can plan accordingly. Like, hey, I need to go over here at noon because the line's an hour long. So I need to get in by 1.
Not bother going over and walking outside to this other hotel because I now see the line is capped.
And there's no way you can get in.
Problems. Because me and my partner showed up half an hour early to something thinking it was going to be capped, and showed up and there was literally 0 line.
Yeah. That's the thing. Well, I mean, so DragonCon, like I said, 2020, and you can go back and go watch the podcast that we had at that point. But 2020 was a new year for them because they had to figure out the online presence, and we reviewed it. There was a lot of things they did that kind of surprised us in like a good way because like they'd never done it before, and then there was a lot of things that obviously from just learning experience like they just didn't have, and it's nice to see that they have kind of sort of incorporating some of that stuff like they need to do, but at the same time there's still a lot of stuff they need to learn from some of the larger like expos and conventions that are typically catering to in either online crowd or / app crowd that are like used to being able to be familiar with like navigating and stuff. So But and that's fine. I mean, that's all right. Tell me more. You have another cosplay, right? There's something else.
So one of my most favorite moments of the weekend was when I was getting ready for the last day last day that we were there on Sunday, and Brian has mentioned before that his car updated, so that his car's navigation system updated, or the Bluetooth sync updated, so he could start listening to messages coming in from Discord. And we had our own Discord, and it was called DragonCon No Mics Allowed. So it was literally just me.
So that's why I never heard anything. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was me, Brian, Bruno, and Brian's wife. And I one of my favorite movies is Friday the 13th. And I borrowed a shirt from Brian and his wife that was a Camp Crystal Lake counselor shirt that they'd used in an older cosplay at DragonCon. And his wife also wore one, but I did my very first homemade prosthetic where I had used liquid latex and tissue and created a slit on my throat with like blood coming out and everything.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize you'd made that. And secondly, F all of you guys for making your own little secret chat. Like, I was like sitting there going like, why is it so quiet? Like, are they having that much fun that they haven't said a word?
It was really more to help make plans and stuff like that. And where's Bruno? Yeah. What floor are you on? So I sent a picture with, hey, my throat hurts. Maybe I should take a COVID test. And so Brian's car says, hey, he has me saying, yeah, you've got a new message.
DragonCon, no mics allowed. Daydrinker says, I think I got COVID or something because my throat hurts. So I'm driving along and I'm like responding going, nah, you've just been yelling all day yesterday. That's why your throat hurts. It's perfectly
totally
normal. And
yeah,
then she,
I was like,
replies with LOL.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think you. I think that no. At first, I was like, oh, is he joking back or no? He didn't. No, I remember now. And I said, you didn't see the picture, and then he was like, I get the joke.
Well, there's some replies that are like certain, like the auto replies that come back. You're like, that doesn't seem like something they'd say.
No. Can I call you later? ? No. Yeah. So that I thought was hysterical. So the last day, I went as the camp counselor from Friday the 13th, and we did run into Jason Voorhees, and I ran up to him and I was like, I've been looking for you all night long.
Oh my god.
He was like, glad I found you. Then we ran into another couple that were dressed up, and they were like, we've been looking for campers all day. So that was amazing. But the most amazing part was Brian dressed up as the Heath Ledger Joker. He did such an amazing job. He was in character the whole time. All of the Harley Quinns ran up. All the Harley Quinns would run up to him, and all the Batmans wanted to get a picture taken, and then the Robins and the
in the Gotham Knights.
In the
Lots of Gotham Knights. Lots of people doing like Red Hood and a lot of those types.
It was
so
really cool.
I mean, it sounds like you had a pretty successful DragonCon for your first one. And I'll be quite honest, like as Demiran pulls out the whole like liter of rum, not just
we're good.
the whole handle, not the half handle. No, so I mean, it sounds like you guys did it well. Like my thing is, your first. So don't get me wrong, I'm very biased with DragonCon. Like I really enjoy DragonCon. I've been to a lot of different conventions. I still have a special place in my heart with DragonCon. And I've only been going since 2015. This is not a thing I've been like my whole life have been doing, and a lot of people have been. They'll say like, "Oh, before times were better," and whatever. The point is, make it whatever you want to make it. Yeah. And what I definitely would suggest is, your first time actually do it like you did. Like, I mean, panels are great. All these things that are going on are great, but it's super overwhelming because typically there's so many people. There's 5 hotels, all well, most of them are all connected through Skybridge. So it's like one large party you just keep rolling through. And this is a cosplay heavy event. So you will constantly see people watching. Like it's just what you do. Like you drink and you people watch. Like, and if you don't want to drink, that's fine. You can still people watch. There's so many people in cosplay. Like I said, there's some obscure things that you can find. I think you did it fine. I think, obviously next year now that
stamp of approval from Mike.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now that you've gotten like the kind of the lay of the land, you kind of know where things like the areas are like, oh, this is the Marriott bar. This is the Marriott. This is the, the Hyatt bar. Cause like there's certain choke points, Yeah. Like, there's things like that.
I was like, I'm just following Brian and his wife because I have no idea where I'm going, and then by, it was literally the last day I was like, oh, I know where I'm going now.
Yeah. And that's the thing, it's so funny because like if you ever have to go to those hotels outside of DragonCon, you're like walk through them and you're like, this isn't what I remember. Like I knew I was here, but this is not what I thought. Like this is like you're like, God, was I that drunk? Like I didn't even drink. Like what's but no, it sounds like you did a good job.
Get from this side to this side so much quicker now.
Yeah. So like, obviously next year we'll get your feet wet a little bit more. Hopefully I will be there and my wife will be there and we'll be able to kind of do that. Next year you can go to PAX West. Next year I'm going to PAX East. But some of us will be going to DragonCon. But yeah, so it's it is a thing, and it's like next year you may go panel heavy and decide that panels are your thing to do, and you'll plan it all out and do all that, and people watch in between, and then you'll finally find your hybrid mix of like, I like to do this, I like to do that, or I can't miss this party, because that's the other thing too with going to DragonCon is a lot of the nighttime parties, because they're all based on like certain types of genres or just different films. And like, there's the Lord of the Rings party, or there's the, the last party in Alderaan, or there's like all these different parties that are all themed based on the type of movie or show. And you just walk in and just people watch there. Like all these people are like worked all year on their cosplay for like Lord of the Rings. And you're like, oh my God, these guys are straight out of the movie. Like and there's like a Dwarven band on the stage, like playing, and like it's just, that to me is DragonCon. And that's really cool. I'm glad that you guys had a good time.
I just have to live through you guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Demir, tell me about your experience at DragonCon. Sorry, I didn't mean to like.
No, you're fine. I mean, it's vending, right? So you're just up there trying to sell stuff.
So what are you selling? So some of us may not know. I know that
I take time off work every single year around DragonCon to help my wife sell her merchandise, her work prints, standees, original art, etc. at DragonCon. She is always in the comic and pop section.
She's an artist, right? So like
she's an artist.
Like draws and illustrates all these different things and has her own.
She is a professional character designer, former character designer for the show Archer.
Like the shirt you're wearing.
Like the shirt that I'm wearing. Funny enough, yeah.
This is not a product placement, I swear.
But yeah, it's like I feel like the first year we ever did it, we didn't really know exactly what we were doing. It was 4 years ago now. That's awesome. Day drinkers.
That's fun. And I remember 4 years ago, like talking to you because you knew I had been to DragonCon. And you were like, what's the deal? Like, I think we're gonna vend there. Maybe we're gonna check it out. I don't know.
Yeah, Savannah had been many times. Savannah's been going since she started going to SCAD, so like 10 years now, something like that. I had only gone twice before then, for like one day because I didn't really care.
Nerds.
But I mean, it's an interesting experience from either side.
Yeah.
But our first year there, I actually went out, I hung out with people, you mostly, and Brian, and we did a whole bunch of things, and like I didn't spend too much time vending, but then we kind of learned some lessons through that. So like vending at a convention as large as DragonCon is like a very committed task.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to do a good job, you need to A, stand out, and B, really be there and putting yourself like out into like the crowds that are passing your booths to really try and entice people in.
Yeah,
So
I think
it was
it's
an
a good
interesting
thing that you're
experience.
saying because like a lot of people don't realize this side, and I think it's cool to kind of hear your experience. So
Yeah,
please
I
tell me
think a lot
more.
of people just, I mean, and there are a lot of vendors, like there are a few vendors who kind of just like chill and let people come to them, and that's fine. But like overall, like a lot of work goes into getting those booths set up, into running those booths, and of course, um, there is a general standard for booths because when you fly with stuff, you can only do so much. But we're a local, so it was interesting for us. We saw what worked for our booth, what was well received and what we could do better. And as the dogs run by, um, and yeah, I mean, it's weird because DragonCon just ended, and I like DragonCon hadn't even ended yet, and I was on my tablet in between sales, like looking up guides on like 3D modeling for stuff, so that I could start to put together the booth for next year.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got
Yeah.
363 days.
That's the
Something like
thing is like, you know, even though I'm not a vendor and I don't go there. I mean, obviously the vendor hall is awesome and there's a lot of really cool things. Like I said earlier, like, you know, if you're going to shop for like, I don't shop for like the typical vendor, like the cookie cutter things that have like the same booth like over and over and over where they have the same items over and over, like all the pops and everything. Like, that's cool. That's not what I'm into. I go for the people like you, like the comic artists, the artists that are illustrators or like have this really neat like thing that they've done themselves. And to see and hear kind of like your experience too is great because that also is DragonCon. That is another reason personally why I go. Like I want to be able to experience those, you know, meet those people that are behind, you know, the mask or the pen or whatever you want to say, that are creating all this really cool art and different things that influence, you know, the rinse and recycle of the con. Like, you know, they draw an artist of some kind of character, and then all of a sudden now we have people like your wife has that follow them around as her characters that she's drawn. Like it's
Yep.
it's like a, you know, it's a whole environment. So it's
And
it's really
DragonCon
neat.
prep takes a long time for vendors, especially like DragonCon's not actually a super easy convention to get into. As an artist, they have like a vetting process, and it's left to like a vote. Like there's a tribunal essentially where they're like, this artist is in, this artist isn't. So I was even talking to some people this year who, I mean, this year was kind of weird, like I said. So some people really had a rough time digging in and getting the sales they expected to get. But I talked to like more than one person, especially this one guy actually bought some of his art. He was a really nice guy. He had some interesting like kind of like cuter small prints of like pop culture things, and he had been applying to DragonCon for the last 5 years.
Whoa.
And he got declined 5 years straight, and this was his first year getting in.
Well, that's awesome that he kept it going though.
He did. He just like I just kept applying every year. I'd expand the amount of designs that I have, and I would promote those, and I would make sure that my best work was put forward. And year after year, I would get declined. And he's like, and finally, on the 6th year, they said yes. Like so, you know, even the online year, they were like, eh.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting process, and I think for like people who are listening who aren't obviously going to be vendors, the process right now I think is like ever evolving for getting like DragonCon goers to the vendors hall, because right now it's like it could be like a really almost insurmountable task for people to like get in there. Like, you know, it's Georgia at the end of August, beginning of September. So it's not exactly like the nicest weather to be
I
standing
don't know
outside.
what you're talking about. I love 88-degree, 95% humidity. You don't with no wind. You don't like that?
30 minutes to like
Especially when you're like a
3-hour
trench
wait
coat.
time.
Yeah, when you're in cosplay.
30 minutes? Oh,
Sunday.
No, sir. No, sir. It was definitely more than 30 minutes. And we had to
that
walk
was the
all
low.
the way around the building to find the line that we
the
could have
low
gotten
side.
to 25 yards from the fucking entrance.
That was 30 minutes.
Hence why I
was the
usually
low
go
side
Monday.
of it. And it didn't used to be like our first year in 2019. It was like a free-for-all. Like, just people just cramming through the door into the America's Mart building. And we were already on floor 4 at that time, which was kind of weird for the comic and pop section. But like after COVID restrictions, now it takes even longer. So like the line organization is really intense. So like like we had people being like, we waited for 3 hours. So like there's definitely a lot of jokes about like DragonCon just being line con because you just wait for so long to get to things.
Yeah.
But the process this year from last year was already so much better in terms of how they were letting people in. It was stagnated in 2021. So like they would stop completely and they'd be like, nobody's getting in for like the next 30 plus minutes, period. This year it was kind of like a pretty smooth cycle all in all, but still the lines were insane, so it didn't matter, you know. I don't know. It's interesting. I'll be interested to see where it's at in 2023.
Yeah,
and
I'm interesting to see myself there because that's
we're gonna bring our A game next year. We thought we brought our A game this year, but really, as far as I'm concerned, it was our C game. We're gonna bring our A game next year. That booth is going to be next level,
out of control.
So
yeah.
kind of on that same point, this is actually the question I was going to ask last, and I feel like I'm interviewing you guys now. But so Brian and Kelly, so Day Drinker and Phoenix Nova, tell me, what are you looking forward to next year if you attended? Because it sounds like someone's not. What is it? The one thing that you're looking forward to again next year?
Well, I'm looking forward to cosplaying again for sure, and also maybe getting more flags because I got my first flag.
Oh, the ribbons! Oh yeah, nah, those are a whole thing. Like, oh yeah, now you're in. So
yeah, I was like, oh my god, I was like, oh, and it was a father and son cosplaying as people from Stranger Things. So it was, so it was a Stranger Things, you know, and I love Stranger Things. So
yeah, no, that's cool.
It was super cute. Yeah.
So about you, Brian? What are you looking forward to if you go next year?
Next time I go, I'm looking forward to an app that actually works.
I mean, that's fair. It's a good point.
Listen, I do love the cosplaying. I do love the people watching, but also at the same time, ultimately it's not as satisfying and not as worth it unless I can go and see the things that I'm interested in. The whole point of this is that it's a pop culture convention that these people, that not just us go to, but the actors and people involved, or artists in the case of Ruin, that people want to see. My partner was sitting there looking, and she saw this woman, and she goes, "Boy, she looks really familiar." And she's looking at, she's staring at the woman. The woman looks up and sees her and kind of smiles at my partner, and then she like walks off. And then she's like, "Oh my God, it's so and so from Supernatural," but she was already gone and couldn't even say that she was a fan. Yeah. And that's a random chance encounter, which is, that's when you've got 60, 70,000 people a day, that's hard to run into and find. Whereas if the app works and you can find those panels that you are interested in and want to go and ask a question or listen to the cool, behind the scenes stories they have and stuff like that, which is fascinating, or panels on, maybe not TV shows, but on, making video games, or panels on voice acting, and being able to discover the things that you're interested in and add that additional level of value to the fact that you are traveling to this place, that you're paying X amount for the weekend to be there, probably more if you're traveling further because you got a hotel room. It adds that extra level of value. That's very important.
So, and just to be clear, I'm with you. I totally get that the app needs to be better. But there are those random encounters that do happen because, like you said, there's a lot of people going. Yeah. And sometimes they don't even have panels. They're just actors that happen to be in the town. And they just want to be there. Because I've ran into many different actors just randomly, wait a minute, is that
I've
what?
ran
and they're
into
just gone.
Eddie McClintock several times, and he actually recognizes one of my friends anytime that he's along with me. But the point is that's it. It's a random encounter, and you can't count on that.
Right. No, that's cool. So, I mean, you guys have obviously hyped me up enough. I'm already thinking about what I can cosplay for next year. But But yeah, that's basically DragonCon 2022. If you guys want to know a little bit more about it or send us a comment or how you think about it, send us a comment at goa@sasgaming.com. We'd love to talk about it. On that note, give us a few minutes. We're going to listen to a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back. And we're back. So now that we've got DragonCon sort of out of the way, I feel like I don't know. It's really strange to me that I feel like I have post-con depression and I didn't even attend this year. Like it's been, 3 years since I've been in person. It's really just like, I guess, starting to weigh on me a little bit, but next year, definitely doing it. Like I'm going to make sure that happens. I'm going to be there at least a day, if not the whole weekend, which I
didn't have post-con depression. I have parenting and adulting to do.
Yeah, me too.
So I've been overwhelmed for multiple days straight, and I don't even want to drink. I don't want to do. I just want to sit on my couch and
that's a lot. It's a literal thing. Like there's actually like if you check like the Discord or the the Reddit or whatever, like it's an actual thing people go through, and it's not just DragonCon, like any convention really. But it's like people come out of their shell, and that's what we always joke about. Brian is like Brian's very quiet and doesn't really like he's not the what do you call it, the extroverted person. Extrovert. But when you put him to a convention, like he's like amped, like he's like he turns into me. It's really crazy. But yeah, people, and once they get done with that, then it's like, oh God, like I have to get back to the real world and my life and whatever that may be. So it's a wild thing. But yeah. So I know, Kelly, there was a topic that we talked about the other day, and it was something that kind of was interesting to you. And the more we talked about it, it got more interesting, and to the point where like, I'm going to go look this up because I want to know more about this. So I'm going to let you have this and just take it and run with it because I'd love to hear what you found out.
Thank you.
That's a lot of talking for just letting her have it and run with it.
It's a struggle to let me have it.
That's what she said.
So I love arcades. I have since I was a kid. Even into adulthood, going to like Dave and Buster's or Six Flags or boardwalks. I know I've got a story about that. It's just a lot of fun. It's fast paced. There's lights. There's noises. It's a great time, right?
Step right up.
Yeah, I love carnival games. All of that stuff. But my kids are getting much more excited about these sorts of things as well. But there are two games that I really used to love, do like, love to hate to love. And those are the claw game and the coin game. So I am actually going to list this part of the segment. And you guys will overlap, but this is rigged arcade games, and I'm just going to talk about two of them. I could probably go on.
This is where Bruno would just tell you just need to get better. They're not rigged. You just suck.
Oh no.
Probably.
No, definitely. I would.
Oh wow.
It's rigged. Are you kidding me? Did you forget what I said about Diablo Immortal?
Super rigged.
Because I tore that game to shreds, and then I tore the shreds to shreds, and then I mulched the shreds, and then I turned them into powder.
And you snorted it and started it all over.
Yes.
No, we know who snorted it. We don't have the same names here.
I will remain silent. The claw game. This one, I as a kid loved. I spent way too much money on claw games, and I know where my kids get it from now. So when we go to the bowling alley or Six Flags or an arcade, they see that claw game and they just gravitate to it.
I'm sorry, there's like toilet paper in the one in this video, like why or picture.
Yeah, I think that was probably a 2020.
It was during COVID times, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So the claw game, like I said, my kids love it, and my husband did not know the details about the claw game, and I guess I'd given them many quarters at one point to play, and of course, they kept losing. And we went to Six Flags, and I was like, no, that it's rigged. Like, we're not going to play. I'm going to go use the bathroom. I'll be right back. And I come back, and one of my kids is stuffing quarters in, and my husband goes, oh my God, you got, and then literally, so it's like this, and it literally like basically lets go. And he looks at me and he's like, did you just see that? Is it broken? And I go, honey, it's rigged. It's 100% a gamble. If you look up, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that's a good question, though. So is it still considered a gamble if it's rigged?
Well, we will get into that. Yes. If you look, you can find the manuals for any of these claw machines, I should say, online. And the claw machine manuals will tell you, well, here's how you calculate. There's an automatic and then a customized setting section. The auto is like, well, how much did the toy cost? How much is the total cost of the merchandise? How much money do you want to make? You plug
that's
in
like the settings.
Numbers.
That's like a configuration you can put in on this like claw game.
Yes.
Like now, and I hate to keep kind of interjecting, but when you say the claw game, so we're talking like the nowadays claw games that are like completely electronic, like everything, or like old, like even the old ones were that same way.
Even
like
the old ones were that same way.
Oh,
even
wow.
the originals.
Yeah.
Even
Mind
the
blown.
originals were. Yes.
Well, it's very similar. Is not just the claw game, but the newest iteration that confused people was the Keymaster.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the Keymaster's similar concept. It's got something that looks like skill. It's actually advertised as like, oh, you have the skill and you've got to time the key to go in there, and there's like cell phones in there, iPhones and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And Sega got sued over Keymaster because, just like Day Drinker was saying, straight up in their manual it tells you how to set the payout odds, and that makes it gambling, not a skill-based game.
Yep. So like I said, you put in how much you want to make, how much the toys cost, how much all the merchandise costs, and then people can start throwing in coins. So you can make it you can say, I want to make 9,000% off of everything in here, and
it's
it will
the Dark
do that
Souls
for you.
of like real life. Like
Yes.
But so it is rigged in that sense. It is gambling in the sense that it is still randomized. So you can start shoving quarters in there in 2 quarters in a row because it's random. You could just get lucky and get 2 toys. But that is an unlikely scenario. So it does randomize. You have to look at the claw machine and see, what is it selling? Is it selling a stuffy? Is it selling an iPhone? Is it selling a watch? Is it selling a ball? And based on all of that, your odds are worse. The more expensive, the worse the odds, right?
It's funny is like I've been on like cruise ships, for example, that have like the Keymaster one. Like it's not necessarily Keymaster, but it's some other name. But it has like bricks of money, like dollar bills, like in a stack of bricks, like $10,000 in a brick, and like all this crap. And I'm like, so now that I know that, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm never going to win that. And people won it. And that was the crazy part. Like people were actually winning the stuff. So apparently I don't know who they were, but
it's just a slot machine disguised behind the concept that maybe if you're skillful enough, you could do something about it, and you can't.
Yes. So there are a couple of different things that they will do. They will, just like I saw with my husband and my daughter, where it loosens its grip. That was super obvious, but there are others where it will loosen. Oh, you just barely missed it. There are. There's another thing called the dropping. That's the dropping skill. Makes it look like you just almost won, but so then more quarters go in. There is a guy on YouTube called Arcade Matt. Definitely check out Arcade Matt if you want to learn any kind of skill about this game. So there can be some skill. That skill is maneuvering the toys that you are holding on, the claw is holding on to the point where it will, when it drops, push another one in. Yeah. So,
I'm sorry, your show, like he's displaying
Yes.
like the actual manual of like how to, and it's like math,
Mhm.
like BX parentheses 100% plus C divided by A equal D. So 150X parentheses $1 plus 50 cents. I mean, come on, like this is, oh my
Mhm.
God. And I thought like having a little bubblegum machine was like profit. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
It's ridiculous.
Oh man.
So Arcade Matt was saying, you know, sometimes when he wins, it's just straight up luck. And he even says, I got a full strength grab on that one. So he knows, he can see.
Yeah.
Exactly. Cheers to that one. Mm-hmm.
You're welcome. If you're at home playing the drinking game.
There is one brand where you can do this air grab hack. And watch Arcade Matt to find out what it is, but you have to like do this double tap and then move, and the air grab hack will actually physically hold on to the toy. Only happens on one brand of machine. You have to look at very carefully to make sure you've got the right one. And then like I said, getting close to the prizes to be able to knock them in. So if you know that somebody has just barely lost something before and that's the stuff that you want, there is you could, you know, maneuver and get close and know when yours drops, which it inevitably will fucking do, that it will knock the other one in. So that is the very slim possibility of your, you know, technique and skill.
I mean, it's funny. Well, before you move into the next things, it's kind of funny because, like, I know we went to the bowling alley recently with our kids, and your kids actually. It was just me and my wife. We didn't have a kid this time.
It's perfect.
Why would you bring the kid to the bowling alley? It's crazy. But no, it was interesting because like everything's moved to digital now, right? Like, there's not coins anymore. Like, there's no, because like I remember growing up, it was like, hey mom, hey dad, can I have a quarter or two or maybe a dollar? Can I get like, you go to the change machine and get like a couple quarters out of it, and I'd play X game for whatever time, and that's just it. I didn't really go to the court, like the crane games and stuff. That wasn't really my thing, but I just, you know, I just never won at those, so I just never played them. I played like you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or like Sunset Riders or something. But now, like they have those cards. Like it's even easier. Yes. Like you basically go up. The adult has to go up to like a machine, use their debit card, and buy the card. And the card can be loaded with more, you know, coins that they can use on the different machines. And now it's like super easy. You just walk up, you swipe your little card, you hit the button, you start playing.
And
so
you
it's
don't
like not
realize
even
how much you're spending because
yeah,
you don't
you're just
have
like,
a handful of coins that are weighing you down. Now you just have
and
this
see
card.
physically like I have this bucket of coins and that's all I have. Like now mom and dad are just swiping their card, and we were joking. I remember we were joking about this because we were like, does it just hook up to your bank account? So as soon as you're low, it just goes, hey, we're gonna go ahead and charge your card like another $20, and like no problem. like how far are they gonna go with this? Like it's just, and that's just crazy. Like playing that kind of game, knowing that like I could literally just lose, you know, X amount of money.
And the conversion there isn't a 1-to-1. It wasn't, this game is 50 cents.
Oh, right. Yeah,
it is 2.1 tokens, which equates to something like 2.1.
It was stupid. Like, even if you do the math, like, even if you do the math on the machine to buy X amount of tokens to try to see, all right, so if I buy like $20 worth of tokens, it equals out to 3 plays in this game. No, there was no equation. Like it was, you would always be under.
Oh my God, it made me so angry. That shit pissed me off.
Oh man.
So there was a TikTok that went viral. This TikToker named Ticketmaster1000 posted a TikTok.
Perfect name.
Let me be very clear. I am certain that this only happens in one brand of claw machine, but guaranteed if you look through enough manuals, you'll find the solution to this similar I shouldn't even call it a technique, hack, for other versions. On one brand, they said you spin the joystick around a couple of seconds, so 2 or 3. Then you push it up 3 times, down 3 times, toggle left, toggle right, up, down, press the button that makes the crane rise and fall 3 times, then pay for a turn. You can move the claw over anything you want, press the button and hold the button down. Don't let go. The claw will automatically grab your prize and you win.
That sounds like some bullshit from Ocarina of Time where you're trying to like find the Loch Ness monster in the fishing spot. Like that. Like there's video footage of that and you're like, that's never happened. Like, come on.
Well, also, I don't know if you
will
noticed,
remember
but
that.
she damn near said the Konami code.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
basically.
basically.
I'll
Konami
save
code.
that.
It almost, yeah.
And then the next time that I go to like Dave and Buster's or something, I will utilize that and see if it actually works.
Yes. So
For
there
sure.
are other
Did you
TikTokers that are
remember
like,
everything?
oh, it definitely worked. In other arcades, people are like, you can only do it once. Be prepared to leave because I think it sets it in that mode and then anybody else can just keep doing it.
Oh,
So
God.
they are watching for people doing this. So heads up.
Or maybe just don't have a machine that's programmed to break.
I mean,
Get better
how
at
else are you gonna
coding.
make your money.
Come on, guys. Like you're getting
That-
paid
well,
like $12 an
that's
hour
the
to
deal.
like code. I mean, come on.
That's the deal. It's that's how you set the machine to make sure it works.
Yeah,
and
it's debugging. Yeah, it's fun.
Make sure that exactly. So
Hey, you paid him
know what?
$12 an hour. I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty good, you know?
Yeah.
For like a coder.
So the other game that I personally love and have always been like, something seems off. I know it's rigged, but I keep throwing quarters into it.
Is that Who's in Your Mouth? A different game? Oh, sorry.
Totally different game. That's a different game.
That's a Dragon.
I was like, I thought you were like, it's always been rigged. So you're like, your husband's always like, you know, he always wins apparently.
That's a free game. So yeah, it doesn't cost me anything. So I love the coin game. And we talked I think it may have been the very first a video game that I had done for Game of the Moment was the coin game video game. And it was about an arcade. Hello. I mean, this all comes full circle.
Yeah, I remember that game. It was actually pretty fun.
Yes. Yeah. So the coin game, the thing that's always bothered me about the coin game is that you put money in and the quarters go down and then there are these little pushers that push the coins. And I'm like, something's just not adding up here. And Brian, please keep it on this screen because this is a great example.
No, yeah, I know there's an example here of why.
So I was like, this just doesn't make sense. So they put these dollars or fidget spinners or whatever very close to the edge, but they never topple over, right? And every once in a while you'll get, $1.50 here and there.
Yeah, you'll get enough to keep playing, you know?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things happening here. Again, fucking rigged. The ledges, if you'll notice, in this you may not be able to see it very well, but on the ledges, the lip slips up.
Yeah.
So it's already preventing you from pushing stuff off, right? So you need more force to push quarters off. But you'll also notice where it fans out. Do you see that hole there? There's another hole on the other side. When you're pushing those quarters.
Oh, we just lost your audio.
Thank you. They're going down the holes. They're going.
Wait, are you talking about the holes on the in the picture, like
right
on the side there?
yellow,
There's
that yellow side there.
Oh, so so there's nothing pushing against it.
There's a fucking hole. There's nothing pushing against it.
I've never noticed that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's bleed over on purpose.
And those don't go
never
down
noticed
into
that.
the hopper.
No.
Yeah, they just go back to
those
the
go
machine.
to the house's share.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. I don't see a
And
problem with that.
because that lip tilts up, all you can actually
It's
see in the
forcing it
picture where the
there.
quarters are tilted. So the lighter
They're all
things
pushing
like,
that way.
like the $10 and $20 bills don't go over the edge because as it pushes, they keep sliding back.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So that's why everything's just sort of
Well,
teetering.
There goes my vacation. I thought I was going to spend a lot of money on the coin game, but whatever.
Well,
No,
I've seen even worse.
No.
What I've
We're gonna
seen,
go rig that or the claw machine. Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? I got
I've
that
seen-
thing down already. We're set. Like,
Let's do it.
there's
Y'all
no
did
way
pay for internet, right? You're gonna as long as you can get to
We're
the
going to be on
manuals,
Twitch. We're going to be on
you're
Twitch
totally
live.
Why
Yeah.
do we
Live
need
from the
internet?
ocean. Here we are.
What do we need the internet for?
Oh,
Yeah,
so you can
no.
get to the manuals.
The manuals?
get-
What are you talking about? It was
They're in
like
his brain.
spin it 3 times.
That's only one brand, Bruno. Only one
That's fine.
brand.
I remember all the brands. I mean, how hard is
This
that?
is-
Spin
this is
3
Bruno we're
times,
talking about.
push up, push
That's
down, all the cycle, do it.
He's
one
gonna be
more
the
pay,
popular guy. It's
hold
gonna be
down, win. So like that's already one of them saved, and it's been like I only have to hear it once. I'll just remember all
mean,
of them, and then we show
Yeah,
up.
that
I'll
was
just crush
totally
it.
Oh my God.
Right?
Bruno's gonna get arrested in Vegas.
So, just since you guys are going, just heads up, if you do get to this type of machine, couple, tips of advice: don't shake it. Do not shake the machine. These machines.
It's also a good pointer with newborns as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Don't
don't shake
shake
the
those
baby.
machines either. Yes.
Yep.
These machines
Can we rock
have
the boat, though?
alarms. They have alarms, and if you shake them, a pendulum moves. It hits the thing. The alarm will go off. When that alarm goes off, though, all of the quarters that are supposed to be getting shaken out and going to the slot that you can then just, I guess,
slot.
throw in your pants. Yeah, sorry, slot. That's what she said. It will actually move a lever that will make sure that everything that gets jostled out goes to the house's share again.
Okay, so what you're saying is, if you want to shake this up, you take a hammer, you shatter the glass, and just
Yes,
take what you
yes.
want. Okay.
Yeah.
Got
So
it.
Oh,
again,
wrong. You
it's not
steal the whole
necessarily
machine, Mike.
glass. It's probably plexiglass that is probably resistant to that sort of damage. But chainsaw might work.
We're taking
Bring
the
a
whole
chainsaw.
machine. We're taking
We'll
the
just take
machine
the
back to our
machine.
rooms.
There you go. That works too.
There we go. It works.
I think-
like it.
I think one of the real scammy ones that I saw recently was a lot of times that lip isn't a single piece of metal.
It's not.
It's coming together as 2 pieces of metal.
Mm-hmm.
And what they'll do is they'll take $20 bills and stuff like that, and they will shove
Stick 'em
the
in there.
bill in between the 2 pieces of metal. And because you
What?
can't see it very well, it looks like they're on and they're unfolded and they're hanging. It looks like they're about to fall.
Yeah.
But no matter what
God.
goes over it, because they're wedged in there, the quarters just fall down, and
Yeah.
the bill stays there. I saw somebody on a YouTube video pump in $20+ of quarters, and they got 2 single-dollar bills out.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my question too. So is that considered gambling?
So
or is that
funny
just
you should mention
considered
that.
rigged?
No.
Because that's what I'm looking at is like you're saying I see
Yeah.
a $20 bill hanging off the ledge. I don't see that it's covered and obviously shoved into the machine that it's not going to fall.
So there have been several lawsuits that have tried to say this is I mean, gambling or being rigged either way shouldn't be allowed, right? Like kids shouldn't be able to play these games. And a lot of
Oh,
these
don't get me
lawsuits have
started.
actually lost. I know, right? So the thing is, whether it is considered skill or gambling is whether you have any control over the game. So
Well, skill versus
what they
chance.
will do, yes, and what they will do is they will lower the randomization or lower the payout, so therefore it falls under this threshold where it's okay and it's legal.
Oh, it's like the
UK
rat shit inside of
Yeah.
food. Like it's as
Yeah,
long as it's below the threshold, it's fine.
You're
okay.
fine, yeah. The UK though has actually regulated these games much more seriously. The UK has a sticker that they put on these games that are very randomized. There's very little skill. It says like category D. It's a category D game, so know you're probably yeah. Again, that's what
Day drinker.
yeah, that's category day drinker. Don't waste effing money. So they definitely consider that much more like gambling, and they're warning you, hey, you're gonna just lose your money. This is like throwing money into it, like Brian was saying, just a slot machine. So there is, I would not be surprised if we see more regulation and more, just more, I guess, just more regulation in general.
Yeah, and I mean, so that's why I say that point, because I was looking into, and I talked about this on a podcast at some point in the past. What a weird thing going on right now. But basically, like, it was talking about, like, I was looking into more of like kids with gambling, like having online games with loot boxes and all these different things, and what I came down to, what it actually came down to is it's skill versus chance, right? So. Because the thing is, and also, and like you said, you saw about the UK. I'm talking about the US. Like every state has different levels of law. So, federally, there's a different law. So it's like having the ability to like be able to do all of that. Like it really takes, like a lot.
California
to
has
really
tried over and over
that.
and over again to make these illegal. And that's where a lot of their regulations come in.
Especially since they marketed to kids for just so many years with the whole tickets and literally spending $20-$30 and you walk away with something that cost the house 45 cents.
So
and some of these machines get modified to spit out tickets, even though you didn't get the prize, so that you still are getting something.
Yes.
And you can then therefore trade them in for actual prize.
So I did a little bit of research on this myself, and I'm not going to go too much in depth, but basically, like, Carnival Games is another one that's kind of funny of this, because like it's a lot. The thing that you, like you said, Six Flags and like all these places have, like carnivals have, and you always see the same games over and over, and then people are always spending their money over and over. And for example, the basketball game. Literally, you just shoot a basketball into a hoop and you think you're going to win. But a lot of times, not a lot, most of them are always, the hoop is always smaller than the actual normal regulation size. They're actually oval shaped. They may be higher.
You can't tell that.
Yeah, because you're, however far back. And
from your perspective.
They're actually higher.
Higher and further back than a normal one. Yeah.
The balls are typically overinflated to make them a little more bouncy. And so like that's that game. Then you have the ring toss game, which is like usually most people think that's easy. It's like a little bunch of milk bottles and like milk jugs or whatever. And you toss the rings. Oh, I can get that. But usually the rings are too small to fit over the bottle. So they can, like if you literally went up to that bottle and you held it and you put it on top, it would fit. But like to toss it, like it's like what I actually read was to have a better chance of winning is throw 3 in a row, three at the same time, because if you can launch not 3 randomly, like they all 3 go separate directions, you throw 3 at the same velocity that they all 3 land on each other, that it potentially could push the other one down to land.
That's a nice trick.
Yeah. Again, that's, you're still going to lose, whatever. There was one for darts where you have like the balloons and you throw a little dart at the thing and you think that's easy, but usually the balloons are underinflated. The darts are usually dull. So like they don't really stab anything.
Have you ever tried to pop a balloon that is underinflated? It's almost impossible.
Yeah, like and that's literally what you're throwing at. So obviously you're not going to win those. And then my last one that I looked up was because I was getting pretty much pissed at this point from all my childhood memories, is like the bottle toss, which is basically like a bunch of milk jugs stacked up on each other, and you take a softball or whatever, and you're like throwing it to like knock them over, and you're like, oh, that's easy, I just knock this thing over. But typically those bottles, and this as soon as you play, like they're weighted. They're not like a typical, like they look like they're aluminum, like a little can, but they're not. And the usually some of those actually have like lead fill in the bottom of them. So like they're not actually, they're like 10 pounds each apparently. Like, and the softballs you throw are usually filled with cork, which are literally lighter than the typical regulation softballs, and
they float on water.
And it's crazy. So there's a lot of that. But one of the things that someone did mention is if you're going to a carnival and you want to try to get your best odds, right, is actually going back to what Brian shared earlier was all of the ones that pay tickets. Typically, if the game pays out tickets, those are going to have better odds than any other game because, again, you take those tickets, you go to the counter, and when you get like a fucking finger pull, right? Like you spent like 200 tickets to get, but your odds are better because you actually get to win something. So
Yeah.
All I'm
Well, the
hearing
one-
is
the
that
one
if I
that's
ever
got-
go to one of these things, take my own rings, my own darts, my own softballs, or steal the 10-pound bottle, use it to rob the person running the game.
I mean, wherever
Oh,
you
yeah.
go, you're bringing your own
I'm-
softballs.
okay. Anyway,
No, but one of the ones that has the worst odds, like near impossible,
Oh, yeah.
is the rope ladder climb. Because if it was 2 ropes the whole way, it would be possible. Trouble is it's 2 ropes, and on both sides it goes down to a single point. So
Right.
you're not balancing on 2 points on each side. You're balancing on a single central point, which is hard enough. But then on the top end, when it does come down to a point, they also put it on a complete swivel.
Yeah.
So anytime you get past the halfway point at all, as soon as you lift a hand up on one side, it's off balance and you fall right off.
no, it's wild. So thanks, Day Drinker. That was fun. I'm glad that you just ruined my childhood. And
in your
hopefully saved a
child's
lot of other
childhood.
ones. Yeah.
But at least I saved
now
you some
that-
money.
Well, I'll say now he's gonna be like, I want to play this. I'm gonna be like, no. He's gonna be like, please. I'm like, God, hard-earned
Nope.
money. Insert
Nope.
all that stuff.
Why
No, you
they
don't.
do it?
You don't. You send him over to Aunt Kelly, and I will tell him. Listen, son. Let's talk.
Here's $20.
Uh-huh.
We're gonna go to the
Yes.
casino.
You know what is not rigged though? The Bluey claw game, where the dad from Bluey decides.
Well,
yeah,
actually, it's funny. There is a claw game that is not rigged. Well, it's not rigged in the sense of like what you're saying, but it's the candy ones. Have you seen those that are full of
candy
candy?
ones.
And it says like every person that plays always wins. And
Oh.
it's like a shovel almost. Like you go in and it grabs a bunch of candy
Oh.
and it always drops the candy. So like you pay like $1, but you get like 5
That's
Tootsie
okay.
Rolls. So I mean,
That's-
Okay, so on the cruise ship, they need a version of that, but instead of the candy, it just has the tiny baby liquor bottles.
yes.
Genius.
Except, the odds are terrible again. So
No. The odds would be
No.
great. It's just $5 a play.
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
it'd be fun.
Because
And my kids
like,
get drunk too. That's fun.
Oh well,
I got
kids aren't-
Miss
kids aren't
Cal
allowed.
again.
kids aren't allowed in the gambling area.
That's
Yeah.
true.
So I know I know you guys have been busy. I know you guys played probably not much over the past week, maybe 2 weeks, but I figured we'd talk a little bit about some of the stuff we've been playing. So I know Phoenix, I know you played a beta. You want to tell us about it?
Ramen. And actually,
No,
only like
what you
raw
played,
delicious.
not what you
men.
ate.
No, not what I ate. I did not eat raw men. Well, that's for sure.
I mean, what you do. Hey, I'm not. Listen, be who
Oh, I'm
you
not
are.
judging anyone else that eats
Yeah.
raw men. I don't eat raw men. And it's literally it's spelled that way. It's capital RAW, capital MEN, because you play a little kind of chubby guy who is got
Uncooked.
he's got
Raw.
a ladle and a big old pot, and you throw in soup as a projectile. It's really interesting because it's kind of a typical third-person shooter in many ways. You charge up and you can you do more damage. You run around deathmatch, and you can collect items on the map that then change your abilities. It's very fanciful, kind of cartoonish map. In some ways, it almost feels like you're shrunken down, and it's in other ways it just feels just kind of weird. Like there's like you move both by running and sliding. So like literally you hit this empty pool area and you feel just like a skateboarder in an empty pool.
Bruno tried to
He tried to
do-
stealth
pull a
us. I
splash
saw
move.
that.
That's a great method of escape for the most part.
Yeah.
Sorry. I heard screaming in my house. So.
Wasn't a bat, was it? Hopefully.
I was gonna say, yeah, the bat.
Something
So
smaller.
yeah, it's pretty fun. You got team modes as well, and one of the team modes is you can get a backpack and somebody rides on your shoulders and they get unlimited ramen. Yeah, you got capture point area. You've got like
So
things you can plop
is it
down that
played like a first person or a third person
no,
shooter?
third person
Like what
shooter,
is the
yes.
game mode? Like
It's
it's
a
team versus team.
well,
Like
I was just telling you the game modes. There's deathmatch. There's capture the point. There's
okay,
team
I
deathmatch.
don't know.
Not listening.
No, I was listening. It's just so I'll be honest. Like this is like the third or fourth time I've got an email from them saying, "Hey, closed beta, open beta," and every time I've been wanting to play it, I just haven't had time to
Yeah.
join them during their beta window.
It's-
So like I haven't had a chance to actually check it out.
It's got some fun points, especially since you can drop down certain things like turrets and stuff like that, especially the capture the point mode. It's
Is it
quick. It's very quick action, and very quick to die, which is also kind of cool. Although you can put your pot on top of your head and you can walk around and regain health points. It's very cute.
That's cute.
is it more of like not? So it doesn't sound like a battle royale. It sounds more of like a
It's a
like a shooter,
third-person shooter.
yeah, okay.
With deathmatch,
So you just spawn and-
deathmatch and
yeah.
capture the point. It is not a battle royale. It's usually about 10 people. It looks like 5 people on each side for teams.
Okay.
Team deathmatch is probably what I played most, but they got full on.
So what's the point of the game? Because I mean, obviously to kill the other team, but it's like, it's ramen, and you said you're throwing soup. You have pans.
Yeah.
So like, what's the actual objective? Do they make the best soup, or like, how does
No,
it?
not
Like,
not
how does that work?
objective. That's a theme. It's what it looks like. That's not the objective. Is straight up deathmatch,
Okay.
team deathmatch, capture
wild,
the
okay.
point. I mean,
Should be Captain
that's what I'm saying though. Is it's very much just one of those, but with the overall trappings of this cartoonish land where you're this little soup slinging chef guy. It is cool that you like, again, you can pick up these different items to do different things. One of them changes you into a giant tomato where you're rolling around and you hit the enemy and explode. You can pick
That's
up
awesome.
a shotgun type thing, and I'm not sure what's shooting, but I want to say maybe shrimp. You can, and it's not building like Fortnite, but you can create a cracker wall, which is also, again, there's this whole
cracker
other
wall?
thing. It's literally like a saltine cracker, like the four things.
Oh, okay.
Not that type of cracker.
I was worried for a second. I was like, what are we
Cracker
playing?
But
Ramen and
there's this
cracker.
weird
All right.
sense of scale that it kind of changes. Like sometimes you feel like normal sized and you're sliding through a pool like a skater, and this other time you're putting up this big saltine cracker in front of you, and you just plop it down and it takes a little damage to protect you. It's like, but it's weird because you're like, now I feel like I'm an inch and a half tall. It's got a cool
normal.
aesthetic. It's a cool aesthetic.
At least for
I
me.
mean, for you, maybe, yes. But
No, that's cool. Like I said, I've been seeing, like I said, the emails every time they send me. And it's like it happens to be a weekend that I'm not able to like sit down and play it. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that one of us did, because it seems like they're doing a good job on like the beta testing and trying to like make sure that they're kind of weeding out some of the issues that they're seeing.
I've been seeing
but
this game at PAX for like 4 years now, and am still shocked it's only in open beta now, and not
they're taking their time.
It's already closed again. The weird thing about it, if I have to say 2 negative things. One, if you take away the aesthetic, it's pretty much just a shooter, a third-person shooter,
Okay.
for the most part. And other than that, going from match to match is just too long. I would say it's at least as long as Fortnite, and there's not an interesting like lobby area in between like Fortnite.
So it's not the multiverse where it's like throwing us into matches
exactly
immediately.
what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. Is like I want it to be like multiverse where it just snaps you into the next match.
Oh, sorry, multiverses. I keep saying multiverse, but
Yes, yeah.
True, multiverses.
But yeah, that's
I think it's
interesting.
still-
Yeah, I'll check it out.
I mean, I'm going to say if it comes out free, we should all check it out. Because it might have some free to play trappings on it. Because there is cosmetics, there is stuff that you can earn and put on yourself. If it comes out as a cost, I don't honestly, even though I've been like kind of interested in this, I honestly don't think I'm going to pick it up.
Oh wow.
Well, I mean, I think it's an Epic owned company, if I remember correctly.
I think it's associated. I don't think it's owned.
I think it's Devolver. I think they're associated, I think.
Yeah, I think it is Devolver.
So I could see, because Fall Guys, obviously, I mean, not Metatonic, but I think Fall Guys came under the Devolver umbrella.
Tiny Build.
And
Tiny Build acquired Animal,
That
which is
sounds
the
like it's right up
developer
my
of
alley.
Raw Men.
Tiny Build.
Yep.
Yeah,
We'll see.
does a lot
We'll see what
of
happens.
stuff.
So I actually started playing back into New World. And I know Demir's already shaking his head, but I want to talk about it a little bit. So New World is Amazon's first like action RPG that they held online. And as far as the server stuff, it's great because they own servers. They can spin them up and take them away and do all the fun stuff. I never got to Demir levels, so I never actually became level 60. I was like, I think I logged in at level 37. I will say I'm at level 49 now. So I've been grinding away and having a good time. Just going through the random quests that the game gives you in different areas and stuff. So if you've never played New World, and this is also coming from me, who's never really played a lot of MMOs. So this may be like normal speak for most people, but I'm like, this is really interesting to me. But like with this, it's like there's 3 factions, and even in the game tells you, like in the cutscenes, like the loading screens, it's like, the world is, humanity versus these like evil powers, like everybody's together to work against whatever. But there's like 3 factions, like, and everybody's taking over different territories. And when you take over territory, you can have wars to try to like take over that territory back, and so forth, so on. So there's a lot of different levels, of gameplay, because there's the faction level where everybody's on the same playing field. There's companies underneath that, which is like your guild that you join to like kind of like play along with. And then you just have like, the groups that you're playing the game with. So you like send a group invite to like whoever your 3 people you're on the quest with today. Like you're just, running around with them. And so there's just a lot of, it's the whole MMO aspect of it is cool. The reason why this game drives me to playing it is because of crafting. There's a lot of crafting, a lot of like wood chopping, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of trees need to be chopped. A lot of
He does love his wood,
boulders
ladies and
to
gentlemen.
collect. And but the one thing that I got into recently is the trading post, because I've been playing this, like I said, I played it for a while. I say a while, for like a couple hours, I guess, when it first came out. And then now I'm playing it again. But the trading post to me is the most interesting, because it's the way it's set up is it's fluctuating by literally supply and demand. So there's resources in the world that you can collect free, and based on your level of resourcing. So if you don't have high enough level to gather that resource, you can't. So you have to go either find it or buy it or something. So that's where the trading post comes in, where you can like buy these things that are like not necessarily things you can collect. So it's all supply and demand, and all the natural resources like ore and different like herbs and things are super popular because people need them to craft other things. So I started thinking, I was like,
popular.
I said, and there's hemp in the game too. I'm like, wonder if I could be nefarious in the sense of like trying to create and like fluctuate the stock market in my own self. Is that possible? Sure.
Yes.
Why not? So I decided to go out and start collecting a lot of like resources, different types, and I got pretty good at it. So literally buy low, sell high, kind of mentality. And I told Daedric this the day, is like I got to the point where I was starting to watch, like someone showed me this, and once they showed me this, I was like, I'm in. Let's do it. So I started watching certain items, and like for one, there's like a very like low mana potion, and my character doesn't use mana, so like I don't care, I'll just get rid of them. But I have so many, like it's a ridiculous amount. Like you can make them very easily, so to buy them in the market to me is kind of pointless. Like why would you even buy that? It's like obviously I have no reason why, I don't know. So I went to the market and I found there was only one page meaning like there's only one page of listings of people selling these items for like I think it was 1 cent, like 0.01 gold, like whatever that is. And I bought up all of them. So I spent like 200 gold, which was
Artificially
not
inflating the
really
market.
much at all. Like 200 gold. So now the market had 0 for sale. Again, these are worth a cent and you can make them very easily. But since now when you're going to purchase those, they don't exist. There's no buys. There's no people selling them. So now they don't exist. So I then repurposed those, put them back on the market for $30, 30 gold a piece. And I sold. I sold. So I literally bought up all these things for like 200 gold and made like a couple thousand off of like just people, because there's nothing to compare it to. You just don't know. And I rinsed and repeated this for a while. Like I would find certain things and like, all right, I'll buy up a bunch of these. And there's a lot of people that would post, for example, if the item's selling for like $1, right, or 1 gold, it's not real money. It's all gold, fake gold. There's no transfer for this. You can't really make real money from this unless you sold like a third party account or something. But like, let's say it's a gold and these items are selling for like, you know, people were willing to pay like 50 cents or something. But some people don't realize that if it's people are selling it for a gold, they'll post one item, just one single quantity for like 5 cents. So then when you hit sell and you go to sell your own, you're like, it always picks the lowest number and says, oh, well, these are going for 5 cents. But really they're going for like $1, you know, or more. So as soon as that happens, people scoop up like hundreds of however many people sold this thing for a low price, and then they rescoop it. So I've done that many times where like I'll see. I'm sorry, let me back up. I don't do that personally. I don't list things low for people to do that. What I do is I look through all of the buys and sells, and if I see that the selling price is lower than the buying price, I will buy those and then sell them back to the people that are, you know, going to pay more money for it. Anyway, that's been my day trading like game for the last like week and a half. So I've been kind of just like doing that because it's fun for me. I have
more AMC stock.
Yeah. So I went from level 37. I'm now 49. So I have been actually playing the game and doing some grinding and really trying to like, you know, level up and different things. But the whole like day trading aspect of this has been a lot of fun for me. So I'm like, certainly like, man, I wish I would have played WoW or like Diablo or like these games where I could actually convert this to actual money, because like maybe I'd be good at that. I don't know. So anyway, that's been my experience. New World's been great. There is a huge expansion coming out. I say huge. Demiran may probably disagree with me. It looks really good for me. Somebody who's not end gamed and not very into MMOs, it looks like it's a lot of fun for me. So I'm excited for that. But we'll see what happens. You know, it's going to come out next month, and you know, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, it looks like it's going to be a good expansion for people who are really casual about the game. But the problem is the game has lacked any really new endgame content for a long time. I mean, it's almost a year old now. It's still running on like what, even after the new dungeon edition, 6, 7 dungeons maybe, when it's trying to compete against like these monoliths of MMORPGs that have dozens to hundreds. Even though the amount of money invested in it is no different than those games.
But it's like a 1-year-old baby. You can't. It's just a 1-year-old baby. It's a baby.
There's a lot of MMOs made by smaller studios that come out with more content than that.
Well,
And
speaking of,
it's weird to me. So like, I guess I'll talk about the game, and I hate that I'm playing this to some degree, but I don't at the same time. I am playing Diablo 3 again. So if you've ever listened to our podcast, you'll know that me and Blizzard have a real love-hate relationship. Mostly hate relationship.
I don't think it's a love-hate. I think it's just like very just dysfunctional.
Yeah, it's a dysfunctional relationship. So like, if you don't know about Blizzard's drama, a real summary of it is Blizzard doesn't really care about their players anymore, and they usually just push out garbage products that are predatory and are looking for people to just spend money on loot boxes and other stupid pay-to-progress BS. And they've kind of given up on giving players something to enjoy, and instead made players want to, or made games that make players feel like they have to continue to subscribe or spend money in order to play them. So I have a lot of issues with them. However, with that in mind, Diablo 3, a game that has existed for a long time with many PR disasters, including its
What?
release with RMT, which was real money trading, meaning you could actually get items in game, sell them for real money. It had a whole money laundering aspect to it that happened, and was part of the reason why it ceased to exist.
Oh shit, that's
It,
a thing. Damn, I guess I
it was
can't
a
play this
thing.
anymore.
It was a thing long, long ago. I actually
They're
Diablo
already
3 helped
ahead
me
of
pay a
me.
lot of bills when I was younger. So I'll take it. Not from money laundering. I was just
Damn it,
a no lifer.
I am
In order
so out of the
to
loop.
launder money, you have to have illegal money to launder first, which I did not have as a broke 16, 17-year-old kid. I did have a lot of time and an aptitude for grinding BS shit on games like nobody's business. So
3 weeks
I
later,
made
Bruno's arrested for money laundering since he was like 13 in Canada. It's crazy.
I made many thousands of dollars of the game. Anyways, we are now on season 27
Good
of
God.
Diablo 3.
Wow.
And weirdly enough, Diablo 3's content team it seems to be the only team in all of Blizzard that's doing anything new.
Wow.
So, as shocking as that is, a game that has been on what you could call light life support for the last, I don't know, 3 years has gotten more content um, in the last 3 years on life support than a AAA MMO has in the last year looking at New World. Um, but they've released new game systems that allow you to create these level 125 gems that you socket into your gear. They've added new abilities to create what is essentially these primal ancient items, which are perfect rolled items of your choice, with added effects that modify your class specializations. And I've been playing it as much as I can, considering we had DragonCon, and man, it has been a blast. It
Oh,
is
wow.
the most fun I've had on Diablo 3
This guy.
since its launch over a decade ago.
Well, damn.
You need to come back to New World. It'll be fine.
I fully intend to go back to New World in about 12 to 18 months when I feel like they've actually had enough time to make anything of use. Because right now, even their new expansion is going to be an expansion that is soft on content, heavy on bug fixes, and game system improvements that already
Yeah.
exist, which is exactly what they need because the game is in a terrible state overall. And I firmly believe that because Amazon prints money, like easily, that they'll get the game to the point that it needs to be in. And you can at the idea of the game not being in a proper state, but the end of the day is the end game in that game, which is what I care about.
Right.
Is miserable.
And I'm with you. Like there's obviously I'm not that guy. I don't know the end game. I've never end game did anything. Like even Lost Ark, which was the most I've ever played, like an MMO sort of game.
I end gamed a lot of that game.
And I didn't. So but no, I could totally see what you're saying on that, kind of stealing away from Diablo 3 that we're talking about. But like I can tell because this update coming out is a lot of cosmetic update. Like they're actually rehauling a lot of the skins and the settings of like each of these territories that are there.
Mhm.
They're adding a bunch of like quests in the sense of like King, like the Camelot, almost like kind of like era, different things. And I get that, and it is a lot of revamp for a lot of the people that they're trying to get new into the game.
It's
it makes
interesting
sense
because I actually enjoy the fact that Diablo 3 was the segue out of talking about New World, because Diablo 3 realistically is what I envision New World being in a shorter time span. Diablo 3 just took 12 years to get to where it needed to be. Well, it didn't even take, like, after 4 years of Diablo 3, the game got to a place where a lot of people really enjoyed it and had a really strong core community that came back every season.
Yeah.
And I think New World is on that same path. It was a game that released way before it should have, with way less than they should have released with. But the
a lot
team
of
is still
ambitions
there.
up front, but yeah, and then it was like
Yeah, the team is still there. There's still a want to make something good out of it. They just need time. And I think that a lot of people are hyping up the expansion more than they are. They released a trailer, but they haven't been even hyping it up. They're kind of like, yeah, it's a thing. We're working on it. We're adding some new things. And
Yeah.
everyone's like, it's a massive expansion. The whole world's going to be way bigger. Everything is changing. The new area is like the size of 3 of the endgame areas put together. It's going to be this amazing thing, revolutionizing the game. And they're like, well, guys, slow down. It's a new part of the map we're very excited to show to you, like 2 new dungeons, a better leveling system, and some additional portions of the game being revamped. Please don't make this seem like we have reinvented the wheel. We're working on that. We've got some new wheels that we're putting together. They're not on the car yet. They're not ready. Please calm down. We added some decals. We put in a little
really,
bit of
decals
an upgraded exhaust.
Weapons.
All
There's a
right.
new great sword.
The steering wheel's a little nicer. It shifts a little better. But
Seat
the
warmers.
car
We gave
is
you
still
seat
the same
warmers.
car. Like, just calm
No, I mean,
down.
and as the thing is, it's a difference between like someone like you who's MMO like seasoned veteran essentially, and someone like me who's never really played that stuff, and I'm like kind of picking up what I can and playing.
Yeah.
Like it's 2 different type of players, 2 different types of wants, and for me right now, I'm enjoying it, but like literally, like you're saying, if I get to, because I'm at 49 now, eventually, maybe a couple of weeks from now, I'll be 60 or something. Like I'll eventually get to that end game, and I'll be wanting to play through that a little bit too. And if I get to that same cap, like I'm gonna be upset too. Like I want to play something more. I'll move on. I'll just move on to different games.
Yeah,
So
it's a very long grind. Like much longer
It is
of a
very
gear
long.
grind than
But
even
the day
Lost
trading's
Ark
so
has. Yeah, but trading in all games is really good. Like
I know. I'm like looking
you
for
know,
the ones that are gonna actually make me real money.
like Elder Scrolls Online. I mean, I am 100 millionaire on that game now. So you just roll with it. I'm like rich on Lost Ark. I'm rich on all these games, and it's because I just like playing the auction houses. It's a lot of fun, and it's always the same thing. People are really dumb on those games, so you can trick people into doing a lot of stupid things.
I mean,
That would be me.
people
I'd be like,
real dumb
okay,
in real
sure,
life.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
100.
And to compare it against, that's what it is. Anyway, that's been our podcast for the day. Thanks for listening to us talk for a long time. Hopefully you enjoyed some information about DragonCon. Hopefully you enjoyed about some
Hopefully you won't be wasting
arcade
your
games.
money at the arcade. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you won't play Diablo 3, but you'll play New World when the new expansion comes out. If not, it's fine. You can totally
Or
join
both.
Syndicate or both.
Or
whatever.
neither.
No, but that's cool. Hey, send us an email, goa@sasgaming.com. We really would love to read some comments or feedback or whatever. If you're watching on YouTube, leave us a little comment below. Tell us either we suck, you suck. Maybe you want to tell us that you suck. That's the thing that you want to do. That's fine. I don't care. Hey, it's free. Do what you want to do. Anyway, we love you guys. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/sasgaming, sasgaming.com, all that so forth, whatever. So until next time, we'll see you guys later, and take care.
Bye.
Deuces.